Well, hello, everybody, on the New Health Conversation. For some of you, you probably are not familiar with this because it might have been in a different category. But the bottom line is this. How excited would you be if a men and women lose as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet? Drop a whole dress size in a week with no exercise, lose as much weight in a month as in a year. I know it sounds preposterous. I know you're probably skeptical. I know you think that it's probably crazy that we're even, discussing something like this. But here's the difference. We at the New Health Conversation, we are researchers. That's all we've done. We don't give you any opinions. We give you medical proof, and the medical proof is overwhelming. That diets really, if you're thinking you're going to lose weight by going on a diet and lowering calories, I really want you to think again, because the medical evidence now has turned. And so this is Harvard Medical School saying, stop counting calories. Most people have been taught that losing weight is a matter of simple math. Cut calories, specifically 3,500 calories, and you'll lose a pound. But as it turns out, experts are learning that decades-old strategy is actually really misguided. The idea of a calorie in and a calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. Drop the calories notion, says Stanford. It's time to concentrate on what's in the food, not how much food we're consuming. So if any of you in the beauty and fashion world are wanting or needing to lose weight, the way to do it is not by lowering calories. It's been proven over and over and over again that that is not the strategy to lose weight. And unfortunately, that's all we've ever been told, and all we've ever kind of done is we've been told that the way to lose weight is to lower calories. So little Bex. What we're talking about is how you could lose as much weight in 7 days with no exercise and lose as much weight in a month as a year, lose no water, gain lean muscle mass. It's not a diet. The main reason, how excited would you be if you literally in 7 days could lose as much weight as in a year, as in 8 weeks of dieting? That's what we're talking about here. So little Bex, you're back. So little Bex, what we're talking about is literally how you can lose as much weight in a week as in 8 weeks of any diet if you choose. And I know it sounds preposterous, but we have 80% of America overweight now, 50% obese, and Lil Bex is back, and 50% are overweight. So Lil Bex, are you interested in maybe losing weight or more energy, or what would be your main focus if you want to put it in the chat? And this is live, this is not recorded. I'm actually here, I'm a researcher. Hi, Mary. I'm a researcher for 21 years. You can see above my head there, I've written 4 best-selling books, and we're talking today about the new medical science. There's 7, I've got them in my hand, 7 new medical studies, Mary, where women lose a whole dress size in a week. No one was allowed to exercise. They lost no water. In a month, they lost as much weight as in a year. Pre-diabetic, okay, that's Lil Bex. Now we're getting somewhere, okay? So Lil Bex, are you on medication yet? It's just important that I know that, okay? Because first of all, I want you to understand that 25 years ago, this was invented by one of the world's greatest nutritional chemists who was a diabetic. So it was originally invented specifically for diabetics. Let me tell you the kinds of things we saw. We saw in 30 days, people's blood, even people on medication. You're on metformin, okay, great. So as you know, what metformin does, Lil Bex, it lowers the amount of blood sugar, but at the same time, I hope you know, it also increases insulin. And when insulin goes up, what happens? It forces your body to store fat. Listen to this. In 30 days, the diabetics that were on here that were monitored by their doctors, okay, their blood sugar came down 10 points in a month. Not 10%, 10 points, huge. But for the first time ever, their insulin came down 41% in a month. 41%. You talk about being insulin resistant, which is really pre-diabetes. And also, Lil Bex, if you don't mind, so how tall are you? How much do you weigh? Have you tried dieting? What other protocols have you tried so that I can perhaps give you some guidance? But the thing I want you to understand, Little Bex, is that these are medical studies. These are not commercials. These are not scientific studies. They're real medical styles in 7 of the biggest medical journals in the world. I wrote the best-selling book, Why Diets Are Failing Us. It came out in 2010. We've had 2 or 3 updates since then. And now, but for 20 of my 21 years, we had no medical proof. We had before and after pictures. We had good stories, et cetera. We actually provide for you. I'm going to show this to you here in just a moment. This is the medical website where you can go for free. That website, you'll see before and afters. You'll see the blood sugars. You'll see the cholesterol. You'll see the triglycerides. You won't believe the results. The results are insane. This is not a diet, okay? The researchers who created this, just to let you know, okay, that's not too bad, little Bex. But again, what's your doctor told you, or what are you trying to do? Because I'm sure your goal should be that you could reduce the amount of metformin you have, or eliminate it altogether. I hope that's a good strategy for you. Janelle Jenkins, Mary. So what we're talking about here is not a diet, okay? Now, I know everybody gets really excited. And I mean, we have the medical proof. Men and women with by the way, no one was allowed to exercise because they didn't want exercise to be an outlier. Can you imagine, though, that men and women lost as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet ever studied? They ended up losing as much weight in a month as a year in any diet, but also they lowered blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides, all came down dramatically in 30 days. Hunger came down 41% in 30 days. And in 8 weeks, people shrank their some people call it belly fat. It's called visceral fat. It's the fat around our organs. It went down by 33% in 8 weeks with no exercise, no sit-ups, no crunches, no anything. I know it sounds too good to be true, but the reason we provide that free website for you, the only thing there is medical proof. If you go there, any of you, we won't contact you. Because the goal is to educate you, show you, here's the medical proof. There's an interview with the #1 weight loss, nutrition, and physiologist in the world, who he and his teams for 38 years, over 100 studies, trying to solve the obesity, overweight, and now health crisis that we're all facing. As we sit here today, 80% of Americans overweight, 50% are obese, and little Bex, 50% of Americans now are pre-diabetic, just like what you're talking about. But obviously, the key to this, how excited would you be, for example, little Bex, if, okay, so in those numbers, I would say in a week, you're probably going to lose 6 to 8 pounds the first week. I mean, how much would that excite you and motivate you? And a whole dress size in 7 days with no exercise. That's how powerful this is. Now, I know for the people listening and watching this, they're thinking, no, this can't be real. But it is real. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to show you now the website so you'll all know I'm not making anything up. There's nothing to buy on this website. Only thing there is the medical proof, including an interview with the #1 nutritional weight loss physiologist in the world. Not me. I don't want you to believe Peter Greenlaw, okay? I'm the researcher of the researchers. And despite the fact I've written 4 best-selling books, all with medical doctors, I'm not the final authority, okay? We're bringing you the research for free, okay? Mary, you're exactly right. 1,000,000%. Yes, that's what the cigarette companies did. They bought the food companies. And guess what? They're pretty successful with cigarettes addicting us. Did all of you know, for example, that sugar, which is the main component in almost all our food, is 8 times more addictive than cocaine? Boy, wow, I'm so happy to have people on here that absolutely, get this, right? I just today, by chance, normally I don't come into the beauty section because, I don't wear makeup. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But apparently a lot of you are very, very astute about this. But little Bex, again, understand it's really important that you give yourself the opportunity to see the medical proof, okay? Now, for all of you, let me explain to you what they did. How does this work? How can they possibly do this? Well, Mary, it's to your point. They realized that in all the diets, after 38 years, 100 studies, thousands of people, every diet people lost weight only to gain it all back and more. And the reason for that was really simple, but complicated. The body runs not on calories. The body doesn't even know what a calorie is. Calorie is just a measurement. What the body runs on is nutrition. So we have a minimum amount of nutrition that when that's there, the brain's comfortable and everything's because it's nutrition that drives the brain, the heart, the kidneys, the liver, the spleen, all our internal organs. When you go on a diet, this is really what you're doing. You're lowering the amount of food. I hope everyone agrees with me on this. But what they're never telling you, all these influences, all the people you see, they're lowering the amount of nutrition. When that happens, the brain senses there's not enough fuel. It freaks out, goes in starvation mode, prevents you from burning fat, and immediately turns to your muscle for fuel, slows down your metabolism. That's why you plateau on these diets, and that's why you come off the diets and you gain everything back. Study after study after study proves that, just to show you. This study, why you shouldn't count calories. While counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. What's even worse is 2/3 of people who try to count or restrict their calories gain back more weight than they lost. So you're going on a diet to lose. Are you kidding me? 66 and 2/3, you're better off don't even go on a diet. They don't work. None of them work. They're all based on the same principle. Please put in the comments, any of you. Can you show me a diet that's not some form of lowering calories, even though the body doesn't know what a calorie is? So what did these researchers do? They said, okay, what was our mistake? Our mistake was that what regulated goods? We don't have any what are we talking about? What are you talking about regulated goods? There's no such thing. I'm talking about real medical science here. We're not talking about regulated goods. So you're misinformed, okay? That was TikTok coming on and just telling me that there's we haven't even mentioned anything yet. What are they doing? Anyway, to let all of you know. So what the researchers did, they figured they could only give people 40% of the food that would come from North America. And the reason for that was that our food is nutritionally insufficient in this country, okay? The second part of it is that they found other suppliers from around the world who had found 5 food sources from Russia, Mongolia, Manchuria, Tibet, in the Himalayas, South America, New Zealand, that had massive amounts of nutrition. So 40% of what you would consume comes from the grocery store, and the other 60% from these 5 foods. Now, let's be clear. The researchers, they don't sell anything. They don't have a company. They're just scientists, okay? These 5 foods that you'd buy, other than what you buy at the grocery store, you don't buy them from me. You buy them directly from the suppliers who supplied those foods they supplied them to the researchers, right? Well, here's what's crazy. The 5 foods that you would buy, they give you 100% money back guarantee during the first 30 days. No questions asked. They'll even pay return shipping. Now, something else that you want to know, if you go to the website, which I'm going to put up there again for everybody, the New Health Conversation, number one, if you go there, we are not going to contact you. So don't think you're going there and you're going to get a phone call from us. That's not what we do, okay? What we're doing is we're giving you the opportunity to see the medical proof, no strings attached. And if you like what you see, then you can scroll down and sign up for a free consultation with one of our coaches. Now, for example, we have coaches that maybe specialize like in diabetes for you, Lebex that's on metformin. We have medical doctors, we have PAs, we have registered nurses, because it's not just the ingredients that you're going to get, it's how you consume them. Because that was the other thing that the researchers did. Wait till you hear this part. 5 days a week, they had people consume for breakfast these 5 foods from around the world. No food from the grocery store. Then midday from the grocery store, at supper from the grocery store, and then they gave you a 4th meal after dinner 5 days a week. I mean, can you imagine? No diet's ever done that. 2 days a week, you do. Now, don't get nervous when I tell you what this is. They did intermittent nutritional fasting. Fasting with nutrition, not intermittent fasting, not time restricted eating, none of those things. So what they did, they took they took and no food from the grocery store on intermittent nutritional fasting days, and they just had them consume those 5 foods, this time 4 meals of just these world's most perfect meals, and spread out about every 2 or 3 hours, and look at the results. Men and women lost as much weight in 7 days as a year. 8 weeks on any diet. They lost as much weight in a month as a year on any diet, okay? And the point is that there's nothing like this on the planet. And again, I would say I understand. Okay, Lil Bex, fine. Yeah, make sure, go to that website, and if you like what you see, sign up for a free consultation. I'm glad you were able to jump on, at least for a little while. So I got Mary, I got Janelle. So would either of you like to ask me any questions about this? Because we're live. Are you looking, I'd appreciate it. Are you trying to lose weight? Are you on any medications? What have you tried in the past? How much do you exercise? Those are all really, really valid questions. I want you to understand this is not a trick. It's not a diet. This is not an infomercial. This is a podcast with real medical science. We're the only ones on all of social media that have peer-reviewed human trial studies, period. Nobody else has them. And all of our research is our original research. Nothing's copied. And I don't know what they were talking about before about talking about substances. We didn't even talk about any substances because there are no substances. It's basically food. One group, 40% of your food comes from the grocery store, and the other 60% foods from around the world. And then this protocol. Imagine with no exercise, men and women, 80% women, 20% men, they gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass in 30 days, despite losing as much weight in a month as a year on any diet. Can you imagine that? Isn't that crazy in a good way? And most women lose a whole dress size in 7 days. Men lose like 4 inches off their waist in a month. Look, I lost 40 pounds 21 years ago. And I went from a 42 to a 34-inch waist, which I am today, 21 years later. This protocol, by the way, is called R2M. Now, here's what makes it different. It's called race to maintenance, but it's totally different than what you would think. Because let's face it, on a diet, you have a goal. I'm going to a wedding. I'm going to graduation. I want to drop 10 pounds or 20 pounds. Okay, so now you've dropped the weight. But now what? Well, on this, the whole key is to get you to your goal as quickly and safely as possible. That's the end of the beginning. Then we teach you how to maintain it. So let me give you another example. Let's say you haven't been to the gym in a long time. You go to the gym and you're sore at first, but you get a little bit better day after day after day, to the point where finally you're kind of in shape. Well, I don't think if you quit the gym, you're going to go back to where you started. Now, maintenance is much simpler. You're basically, you can do as little as one of the world's most perfect meals in the morning, 2 regular meals, etc. So it's not, once you get to your goal, then it's much, much less involvement, I guess you could say. But keep in mind, you are going to get a coach for free. It comes with a 100% money back guarantee. I mean, can all of you see the benefit of this? What it could do for you? I mean, how excited would you be, Mary or Janelle, if you really could lose as much weight safely in a week as in 8 weeks of dieting? How about losing in a month? What would take you a year with no loss of water and gaining lean muscle mass? But that's not the reason to do it. Here's something else I want to point out to all of you. This is a medical syndrome that I discovered. It's my syndrome. It's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. You notice it says TDOS. What does it stand for? T is for toxicity, D for deficiency, O for being overweight, and the S is for stress. You, and everybody in the world has the TDOS syndrome. What does it mean? It means that we're drinking, we're breathing, we're eating these chemicals, and they're doing things to us, okay? Let me read to you what they're saying they're doing to us. The Endocrine Society, the largest organization of experts devoted to research on hormones and the clinical practice of endocrinology, reports that the rise in the incidence on obesity matches the rise in the use and distribution of industrialized chemicals. They call these chemicals obesogens. Now listen to what they're doing to interfere with your lives. Simply put, obesogens are chemicals that disrupt the function of our hormonal systems, leading to weight gain and many of the diseases that curse the American populace. They enter our body from a variety of sources, from compounds found in soy, hormones fed to animals, plastics in food packaging, chemicals added to processed food, and pesticides sprayed on our produce. They act in a variety of ways, mimicking human hormones such as estrogen, and blocking the action of other hormones such as testosterone, and essentially reprogramming us to gain weight. Have you ever heard of obesogens before this podcast today? Are any influencers telling you about we're storing these chemicals in our body? In these studies, they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, proving this was helping the body to do what? Remove those chemicals from your body. I mean, why would you want to carry 1 gram of a toxin for 1 extra second? Right now, as an adult, you have between 1,000 and 1,500 chemicals embedded in your fat cells. Did you all see the thing about Starbucks coffee? It's been 3 months now, where each cup of Starbucks coffee, you're getting between 50 and 100,000 microplastics in every cup of coffee. Why would that be? Because all paper goods are lined with plastic. Because if you just took a paper cup and put 100-degree water in there, the thing would melt, it would leak right through it. This is crazy what's going on. And then you have people like this is from Johns Hopkins Medical School saying, predicts obesity apocalypse by 2030, where they're saying 86% of Americans are going to be overweight or obese by 2030. What are we doing? What are we doing? We're counting calories. That's what we're doing. How's that turning out? And nobody's arguing that you can lose weight on any diet. But by lowering calories and ignoring the nutritional density, it's the most unhealthy thing you could ever do. Because not only do you lose lean muscle mass, which slows your metabolism down, by losing lean muscle, do you know what else it does to you? It impacts your own immune system. It makes your immune system less effective. And if we learned anything in the last 5 years, our immune system is pretty darn important to us. So see, here's the point. You might think your diet's doing something for you, when in reality, your diet is actually doing something to you. Does that make sense to everybody? So again, Mary or Janelle or Rafi now, does anybody want to put in the chat? I don't bite. I'm here to support you. I'm really, really here to support you because but I need to know, are you looking to lose weight? Do you want more energy? How much do you work out? Or any of those things? You know, just have a lively conversation. I've spent 21 years of my life preparing for this day to be on this podcast with all of you. I'm not kidding you. That's what I do. I try to do like probably 3 of these a day. My TikTok site is the New Health Conversation, just like this is. And that, of course, is the website. You can see it down there, the New Health Conversation. Free to go there. No gimmicks, no tricks, you know, etc. But let's come back. As hard as it is to believe, these researchers, the top weight loss researchers in the world for 38 years, they cracked the code. That's what they're saying. You know what they said? They said in the interview, if you go to the website, there's an interview with the top scientist in the world for weight loss. And he said they'll never recommend any form of traditional diet ever again. He said, Peter, it would be unethical. Why would we so any of you, why would we put you on a diet where it would take you 8 weeks to lose weight in the most unhealthy way, when in essence, you could lose that same amount of weight in 7 days? Or how about losing weight in a month that would take you a year with no loss of water, it's not water weight, and not losing lean muscle, but gaining 6 to 9% lean muscle mass? I mean, how exciting would that be for any of you? So let's see. Rafi. Okay, let me explain to you, Rafi. Okay, here's one of the big studies. I have several. Don't get mad at me. I'm just sharing you. Truth is, calorie counting is a terrible approach for weight loss. While counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. What's even worse is 2/3 of people who try to count or restrict their calories will gain back more weight than they lost. That's the first one. Now, also, Rafi, let's go to Harvard Medical School. Title of this one, Stop Counting Calories. Most people have been taught that losing weight is a matter of simple math. Cut calories, specifically 3,500 calories, and you lose a pound. But as it turns out, experts are learning that decades-old strategy is actually really misguided. The idea of a calorie in, calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. She goes on to say, drop the calories notion. It's time to take a different approach by concentrating on what's in the food, not how much food we're consuming. So with all due respect, I'm sorry to tell you, that is completely wrong. Counting calories has nothing to do with the success long-term of weight loss, because the only thing you should be concentrating on is what's in the calorie, and not even the calorie. See, a calorie is not a real thing. It's a measurement. It's the amount of heat it takes to raise a gram of water, 1 degree Celsius, nothing more and nothing less, okay? I mean, again, no, JD, probably not, no. So anyway, what I'm saying is that, Rafi, look, Rafi, I'm holding in my hands 7 peer-reviewed studies. The men and women in these studies were not allowed to exercise. Let me be clear. We're not allowed to exercise. And yet they lost as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet. In 30 days, they lost as much weight as a year, lost no water. Instead of losing lean muscle, which is the case on exactly what you're doing now, they gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. One of the worst things you can do is go on a diet and exercise. Diet and exercise have been proven. Exercise is great for cardiovascular, but it's not a weight loss strategy. I know, because I have a trainer. I go to the gym at least twice a week, and I see the men and women in there. They're doing the Stairmaster, they're running, they're doing all this kind of stuff. They don't lose an ounce, because the whole principle is upside down. The only thing our body cares about is the quality of what we're consuming, not the quantities. So by counting calories, you're actually doing yourself a disservice. I mean, how excited would you be if you could lose as much weight in a week as 8 weeks of any of this diet and exercise that you're probably doing? I'm just curious, how much weight, what do you weigh? What would you like to weigh? How much are you trying to lose? And I'll tell you how fast you could do it because it'll blow your mind. But the difference is we're the only ones with medical proof. None of these other diets have medical proof, period. Doesn't exist. So I work out and track my calories. So again, Rafi, I'd love to know, because we'd love to be able to help you, right? But here's the point, Rafi. The website is completely free. You can go there and you'll see before and afters there, and you will swear that we photoshopped them. There are women there, men and women both, who lost in some cases up to 100 pounds, no loose skin. Now keep in mind, no exercise. What? Yeah, no exercise. Because this isn't a diet. It doesn't work anything like a diet, right? But again, look, the main reason to do this is not just to fit in your skinny jeans, but that's the least important part. How about massive increase in energy, less mental fog, sleeping better at night, less stress in your body, less everything? It's not a diet. It's not. And it becomes a way of life that's sustainable. It's called R2M, race to maintenance. But unlike normal thing, you think, well, okay, I lost my 10, 15, 20 pounds. I'm done. No, you're at the beginning. Just like you're going to the gym, Rafi, probably if you hadn't been in a while and you started out, you were sore, but eventually you worked through it. You got a little bit better. But then you started to really get in shape. Then you were going to the gym pretty much to maintain the tremendous improvements you had made, right? I mean, that's how this works. It's cumulative because it's not a diet. It has nothing to do with dieting, counting calories, And I lost 40 pounds, Rafi, 21 years ago. 21 years ago. I've kept that 40 pounds off for 21 years. That sounds pretty good to me, right? So again, would any of you like to ask me a question before I'm gonna go about 4 more minutes. I'm gonna do a half hour on this podcast. So if any of you would like to ask me a question, I'm more than happy to answer it. So let's see. I can't think of anything else right now that I would want to, show. Okay, food. I did miss a comment. Let me just see. I heard that cigarette companies went to good made food addictive. Yes, I didn't answer that question fully. There's a book called Salt, Sugar, and Fat. I didn't write that book, but that book allows you to see the inside of how the food companies created addiction for their food. It's called the Bliss, B-L-I-S-S point. And I'll be honest, I love Lay's potato chips, but I can't eat just one. There's no way. But I understand why. So I either completely avoid them, or if I'm going to eat them, I just eat it. But I don't worry about it because this protocol allows you to live your life. But it's kind of like, the best analogy is going to the gym and getting in shape and staying in shape. That's what this is. Now, if you want to exercise, it's even better. The researchers aren't against exercise, okay? But for the studies, they had to eliminate exercise altogether. Otherwise, it would have been an outlier. It would have been a factor in the success that people had. But imagine with no exercise, they gain 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. You know how hard it is to gain, I'm sure you do, how hard it is to gain lean muscle mass. In all these studies over here, another one talking about calories amid the fad diets, calorie restriction continues to be a popular approach to weight loss. It turns out that cutting calories for weight loss is a misguided strategy that leads to the more unintended weight gain over time. All these studies are saying the same thing. You can lose weight on any of these diets, but in the long run, you're probably going to weigh more than when you started. It's like, why did you do the diet in the first place? This is messed up. We have 80% of America overweight, 50% obese, 50% pre-diabetic. And people think this is working? Really? Really? So Rafi, is there anything that you would like to ask me? And don't get mad at me, I'm just a scientist. I'm just telling you the scientific data. Because again, how excited would you be? Now, if you want to work out, that's even better. And you can discuss that because we offer free, the coaching is free. We won't even let you do it without a coach because you've never done anything like this before. It'd be like, okay, you're going to the gym. Don't you think you get a better workout if you have a personal trainer? I have a personal trainer that helps to motivate me, I mean, I think it's a big plus. So they're there to educate you, inspire you. It's free. The coaching is free. And Rafi, I don't know if you were on when I said, so if you took all the food you're going to consume in a month, you'd get a list, only 40% of the food you're going to buy from the grocery store. The other 60% comes from these 5 foods from around the world. Those foods, the people that supply those, because you don't buy them from me, you don't buy them from the researchers, you buy them from those from the suppliers. They offer you 100% money back guarantee in the first 30 days, no questions asked. They'll even pay return shipping. I mean, I know it sounds too good to be true because it is. Only it's better than too good to be true. So again, I'd love to hear from anybody else that would like to ask me a question or comment. If not, then I would encourage any of you that would like to go to the New Health Conversation and see the medical proof for yourself. And if you like what you see, scroll down, Rafi. It says sign up for free personal consultation with one of our coaches. It's totally free, no gimmicks, no tricks, no bait and switch. We want to educate you because we don't know anything about you. I don't know if you want to lose weight, gain weight. I don't know whatever the things you might have going on, inside of you. So again, I'm going to say good day to everybody, or night, or morning, because this podcast goes all over the world. So we'll hope that you will take the time, Rafi, to go there, see for yourself, and then you make a decision. Because if you go to that website, Rafi, we're not going to contact you, be clear. We don't do that. We want you to be in charge. We want you to be in control. We want you to be able to see the medical evidence. Then sign up for a free consultation if that's what you want to do. Okay? Bye, everybody.